What's up guys, it's FIREFIGHTS and today I'm bringing you the second part of my beginner's guide to Breaking Point, so let's get right to it. I'm going to start off by talking about repairing land vehicles. There are multiple types of land vehicles to be used: cars, trucks, even armored vehicles, and they all require same stuff to be repaired, except for the quad bike, which does not have glass. When fixing a car, there are 5 different things that you will need, and to be able to apply any of the repairs, you will need a toolbox. All repair parts, including the toolbox, can be found at construction buildings, as I mentioned in the first part of the guide. So, you will find randomly spawned cars around the map, and when you do, they will either have all parts orange, which means that you can fix it, or the parts will show in red, meaning that they need to be replaced. To enter the vehicle repair menu, simply have your toolbox equipped, approach the car, and use your scroll wheel. From there you can see which part needs to be repaired or replaced. In this clip you can see that I'm fixing a quad bike, and since some parts were orange and some were red, I'm going to name all the things that you will need for both. If the engine is red, you will need a starter motor. If it's orange, you will need an engine coolant. If the wheels are red, you will either need a worn tire or a tire repair kit. To repair body, you will need a fiberglass panel or duct tape. To replace a fuel tank, you will need a fuel hose kit, and to repair it, you will need waterproof tape. And finally, to add glass on the car, you will need a toughened glass panel or liquid resin. For refueling a car, you will need a fuel can. Simply walk up to a gas station, open your inventory, double click on the fuel can, and it will fill up with gas. You then need to go back to your car, use your scroll wheel, and click refuel. Fuel can also be siphoned from other vehicles, and it is always a good idea to carry a couple of full fuel cans in your car inventory for later use. Fixing helicopters is almost the same, except for tires you will need rotors. To replace a rotor, you will need a hydraulic cylinder, and to repair it, you need hydraulic fluid. To replace avionics, you will need an electronics board or an electrical wire. And you should also know that fixing avionics is optional. Your helicopter will be able to run without it. The next part is mainly going to concern the friendly classes like Rangers, Nomads, and Survivalists, because they can easily lose a lot of points when shooting a friendly. For more detailed information about classes, check out my Factions Guide video. Identifying players can sometimes be difficult if you are playing as one of those 3 factions, so you better be sure before you shoot. In a nutshell, if you are not familiar with clothing of specific factions, just check if they are wearing a hat. Also, blood on their clothes means that they have killed a friendly and thus acquired the status of a traitor. Whether if it was accidental or not, you have to be careful. There will also be times when you will come across a mixed group consisting of both good and bad guys, and this is a bit tricky. If their hunter friends stay hidden until you are feeling safe with your newly acquainted friend, be sure to first scout the area and stay out of sight if you see them together. Moving on to a bit more interesting part. Battling other players or groups can be very rewarding, but it can also be very frustrating. This is the only game that gets me so worked up when I hear shots, it's just crazy. There are many different tactics that you can use for any kind of situation, and that's the beauty of Breaking Point. You can go in guns blazing, you can snipe, you can be stealthy, or you can just simply walk away. How you choose to approach a situation is your call. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that might help you. First thing that you need to do when being shot at is try to spot the shooter, or at least the direction of fire. You have to seek cover immediately, and then you can decide what to do. Terrain is a very big factor in these kind of situations because if you are trapped behind a little stone wall in the middle of an open field, there's only a few things you can do. If you want to fight, you can either blind fire just to suppress him a little bit and make him uneasy, or you can try a 50-50 pop shot and see who has better aim. Although, if he's sitting in a fixed position and is already zoomed in on you, you don't have much of a chance. One-on-one situations are not that bad, but when engaged by a group, that's when things start to get serious. You can easily get flanked by one guy while the other one is suppressing you, but this can also turn around very easily. Try to pinpoint the exact location of the shots and look for the dust kicking off the ground with each shot. This will help you to spot the shooter if he's prone. Just remember, you have to act fast and decide if you want to make a run for it or stay and battle it out. If the terrain, however, is working to your advantage, maybe the best thing to do is to try and move undetected from your last known position and attack them from a safer location. But sometimes you just have to risk it and hold your ground. You have options, just make sure not to panic too much and try to get the best out of every situation. When picking off one guy from the group, the rest will try to rush you, so don't let your guard down just yet. If you notice that you are being flanked, move away from the area to a spot where you can see your last known location and stay hidden. They will grow impatient over time and will try to make a move. There is always a possibility that some random players will get attracted by the shots and will come to check it out, so keep checking your surroundings all the time. I should tell you that no matter how safe you think you are sometimes, there is always the chance that someone is looking at you through their scope or sitting in a bush behind you, so you need to be aware that you simply cannot control everything. Urban combat is especially exciting because there is so much cover to use and things to look out for. There is a high chance that players are looting near you and you're not even aware of it. For all you know, there is possibly a player in every building, and that's how you should approach any town. Of course, that's not always the situation, but as I said, you can only know so much. Another very cool part of this mod are the dynamic helicopter crashes. These helicopters are operated by the AI, and you will see them flying over random parts of the map until they're ready to go down. They will start slowing down and going lower, and eventually will crash. Upon crashing, you will hear a loud boom, and a big smoke will arise from the crash. HELICRASHES can spawn some amazing loot, weapons, suppressors, clothing, medical boxes, armored vests, so every player wants to get his hands on some HELICRASH loot. Be careful when looting one and don't stay for too long, as you're likely to get shot. One more variation of the HELICRASH is the CH-67 Huron carrying a care package. It will fly to random drop points and release the care package with a parachute. You can also cut the cables attached to the care package by shooting them while the Huron is flying. The care package has a big smoke around it, which you can also use for concealment when looting one. They are especially nice because they can spawn some unique loot that you will not be able to find anywhere else. After the Huron has completed its run, it will also crash, spawning roughly the same loot as a crashed Blackfoot. So guys, this concludes my beginner's guide to Breaking Point. I hope that I mentioned enough things that can hopefully get you started with the game. There are many more things to be said, but for them to be truly amazing, you have to play and see for yourselves. You can also check out my sniping guide or weapon reviews if you want to see how they perform in game. If you have any other questions, feel free to post it in the comments section and I'll be happy to answer and help you out. Until next time, thanks for the support and thank you for watching.